Good morning, everyone. I have to stop the music because then that's when my ratchet music.
It's
that's my
okay. We all got a little bit of that in us.
that's my gym playlist. So I'll be in there, and then it'd be dangerous. Okay. So good morning, y'all. When we told you guys that we were gonna get real and raw with y'all, this is real and raw. Today is a no makeup, no hair comb, because in the world of crypto, I'm going to be honest, none of that matters. It is not like corporate America. You don't have to look pretty. You ain't got to even change your clothes or brush your teeth to make money in crypto. I did change my clothes and brush my teeth, but I'm just saying. So good morning. My name is Pam Peebles. I am one of your co-hosts for Crypto and Coffee. And I have my beautiful sisters on with me, Marilyn, who's showing up as Pam Peebles because she's logged into my account. I have my beautiful sisters, Marilyn and Frances, with us today. This is not going to be a long, drawn out crypto and coffee session, but it's going to be a fun one because today's topic is crypto real money. You're about to find out from 3 unemployed and unemployable women whether or not crypto is real money. So this is going to be really fun because we could probably wrap this up in 10 minutes. Really cute. Yes, real money. But let's talk about it a little bit because there's such a misconception that, this is foo-foo money. It's pretend money. It's air money. I was reading a post from one of my friends yesterday and found out that he went to try and withdraw money from the bank. I think he was trying to withdraw $10,000 and he was unable to because the bank didn't have the money. The real bank didn't have 10,000 in cash. He had to end up going to 3 different banks in order to get $10,000 of his money in cash. Remember, real money. He couldn't get it. And he had to travel to 3 different banks. I think he was in Tampa, all over the city, just to come up with 10,000. What is going on here in this household? All the phones ringing. He had to go to 3 different banks so that he can actually get hold to his money, the real money. So let's talk a little bit about what is real. How is crypto real money if it's in the air? But remember, I just told y'all this is a friend with $1 million+ bank account who went to get $10,000 in cash and wasn't able to get it. So let's talk, Frances. Good morning.
Good morning. What's up, you guys? Like Pam said, we keep it real around here. Today is one of those days I literally pulled up at home at 9:59 from the gym, but we got goals because we're going to an event in Atlanta. So I can't have any excuses. But so like Pam said, this question always comes up. And to give you guys a little bit of my background, my entire career has been in financial services. So I can relate so much to the story she just told, because that's the truth, you guys. We have to realize that we function in a centralized banking system. What does that mean? That means that central authority has all the control. Anybody in here, and you guys can let us know in the chat, but have you guys ever went and deposited a check that is valid, right? But they want to say, oh, because of the amount, we have to put a 7 to 10 day hold on this. So hold on, my mom just wrote me a check for $3,000, which is large to you. And so you're going to put a hold on it because you want to verify the validity. I mean, in some cases, it's understandable because it clearly looks like fraud. But a lot of the times, it's not because they think it's fraud. It's because they're the central authority and they need to use that money for something else. But back to Pam's example, I remember we would get private wealth clients that would come in needing to withdraw $20,000 because they were going to go buy, their kid a car in cash. And we would give them the run around. You guys, we would have to order $20,000 from Brinks and tell them to come back in 2 days. And I get it, right? I get the safety behind not having a lot of money, but there are vaults, you guys. Like, don't let the banks fool you. There's a vault at every branch. If they wanted to keep 80, 90, $200,000 there, they could. And so when we talk about is cryptocurrency real? Let me just explain in like really basic terms what cryptocurrency even is. Because maybe you're on here, you might hear it referred to as digital currency, but I want you to think about what's been happening with banking naturally, right? We went from writing checks. How many of y'all remember writing checks? I'm a little young, but I've written a check or two for school back when they were taking my money. And, we went from writing checks to using online banking, right? Oh my gosh, you can do everything online now. Well, wait, here's a mobile app. Guess what? You can even deposit a check from this. Oh, y'all getting fancy around here. Then it was the debit cards. But then here's the kicker, the debit card with the chip. Anybody thought y'all were going to be tracked even when you weren't using the card? When I worked at the bank, everybody would ask me that, like, well, why is there a chip? Why is it different? It's encrypted, which means it's easier for them to track everything. It's partly true, by the way. But if you look at that, that's the natural evolution of money. People really don't use cash anymore. And side note, we'll talk about this another day because we have different topics every day, but our dollar has literally no value. The fact that people show up to work for a US dollar and the fact that we spend it is what gives it value. So when we look at what is cryptocurrency is just virtual money that's represented as tokens. And I know that might sound crazy to you, but think about it. Like, we've already been doing virtual business, right? When you want to send money to someone overseas, what do? You send a wire transfer or you send a Western Union. That's digital money, you guys, if we really think about it. So cryptocurrency itself is virtual money that is represented as a token, right? Something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, right? Do those sound familiar? So basically, a specific amount of cryptocurrency that you own, for example, let's say if you buy $50, you own that amount, right, in cryptocurrency, and it goes based off of the market's value. That's it, you guys. Like, cryptocurrency is not really difficult. But when we talk about is it real, it cracks me up, you guys, because cryptocurrency is typically decentralized, meaning there's no one person controlling your money. So if I needed to send Pam $30,000 right now, and I have that value, because remember, whatever I own in cryptocurrency, I own it. It's just represented as a token. I could send it to her right now with no problem. She'd have it within 30 minutes because no one is governing my money. And so when we think about it, people tend to say like, oh, it's risky because, it's virtual. Well, last time I checked, if there was a fire at your local bank, you would do everything virtually anyway. So where's the risk? Like, we got to get real. Or the people that say, well, what if the internet crashes? Well, I got news for you. If the internet crashes, you can't get to your bank, can't get to your bankers, you can't get to that private wealth account. But if the internet were to crash, we'd all be doomed, period. So, I mean, we got to get real about this conversation because it is very real. And so, I'll throw it over to Marilyn. Like, when you think, is crypto real or not? Like, what do you typically say about that? Because I know for me, I thought it was foo-foo money because the bank programmed me that way. That's where I spent my entire career. But when I really looked at it, we're already doing the same thing in everyday banking life. So the difference is I have full control in the crypto world. They don't. That's why they don't like it.
I know,
So,
right?
Before Marilyn pops in, let me say this real quick. The example that Francis made of giving me $30,000, Francis, I'm going to send you my Bitcoin address. And anybody on here, Marilyn, you include too, sis, because I don't want to leave nobody out. I've been sending y'all all individually. If it's not real money, y'all should be okay with parting with it. Okay.
right?
Just go ahead and send your donations to me because I believe in the tooth fairy still.
Man.
I know, right? So wealth indicators. And when I say wealth indicators, if you go to a neighborhood store, maybe a gas station or whatever, you see Bitcoin machines. That's a wealth indicator to me. Why would there be Bitcoin machines, ATMs, if it wasn't real money? Cash App. Why do they offer to pay you, or you can accept Bitcoin as a form of payment? Some jobs now are allowing you to convert your 401k into Bitcoin. So if it wasn't real currency, why are so many people going through the effort of building out a platform just so they can have a space in that arena? You look at a lot of different websites. PayPal is not offering Bitcoin. a lot of different other websites other than those payment platforms are coming up with some sort of Bitcoin payment. So if it was foo-foo money, why is everybody going through all the trouble of adding it to their platforms? And that's pretty much, just evident to me of why Bitcoin is real, why cryptocurrency is real. Now, I know based off Francis and the Academy, and I just learned this, recently in the Academy, that Bitcoin had been coded as a US currency. So why go through the effort, and exert all this technology to make it a digital currency if it wasn't real money?
Well, let's be honest. When we're talking about the government, and I don't want y'all to have to put on y'all tin hat here, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But there's a lot of things that they tell us is real that's not real. They tell us to believe this and not do this, but meanwhile they're doing something totally different. And so to me, if it was not real money, the United States government wouldn't be setting up all of these platforms for us to be able to profit, for them to be able to profit off of, not us. Because remember, even if you own $1 million in cryptocurrency, you are a small fish in a very big ocean. And when it comes to your wealthy people, and what I mean by wealthy, I talk wealth for us, and I mean in multi-million-dollar portfolios. And that's beautiful because truthfully, a multi-million-dollar portfolio lasts me for the rest of my life and be passed down to my kids because I'm not a spendaholic. But you have wealthy people who they have hundreds of millions of dollars in their portfolio. And I tend to believe that if somebody is taking a good portion of their money and putting it into cryptocurrency, I'm talking about wealthy people with hundreds of millions of dollars, when they're transferring their assets from stocks, from real estate, things like that into cryptocurrency, what that lets me know is that this is where things are going. So if you don't believe us, do your own research. I am big on doing due diligence. I'm big on doing my own research. I'll listen to somebody and then I'll go, okay, let me check this out myself. Not because I don't believe the source. It's just because I want to be as educated on the subject as somebody else. And I can tell you one thing for certain, the government is killing the game right now when it comes to cryptocurrency. Make no mistake, they are finding ways to tax it. They're finding ways to create their own. They're finding ways to get their little grubby fat hands into it. So if you believe for 1 minute that this is going anywhere, 5 years from now, let's have that conversation again. Because in 5 years, first of all, we would have built multi-million dollars. I'm talking not just 7 figures, but I'm talking 8-figure portfolios by then, just doing basic stuff that we're doing right now, which is why it's so important, if you are not involved in cryptocurrency, to get back in touch with the person who put you onto this crypto and coffee and let them know, listen, what's up? What do I need to do? Because even making small moves right now in the next 3 to 5 years is going to pay off really big for you. When this whole cryptocurrency thing started out, there were a few coins. There are now over 7,000 different types of cryptocurrencies. There are so many different types of real world problems that these coins are now solving. When I say that you have not seen anything, Bitcoin is expected and predicted to go up past $1 million. $1 million. So let me tell you, for people who got in very early, bless. For those of us who did not get in as early as we could have, we still have that opportunity because Bitcoin is still at 32, 33,000. I don't know what it is today, but it's expected this year just to shoot up to between 100 to 250,000. So there's so much going on. And let's get to the basics of it. Is it real money? Absolutely, because you can cash it out at any time you want to. It's in your portfolio. You control it. It's like having a bank account. You have access to it. I'm able to go into my computer or on my phone at any given moment, and I'm able to see and move my assets around the same way I would with my bank account, because we have 5 different bank accounts, and I'm able to move my assets around in my bank accounts the same way that I'm able to do it in my crypto portfolio. So it is absolutely real money. It's spendable. You can invest it. I know people who have bought cars, and one gentleman who bought a home using his crypto. It's and then there was that idiot back in 2013, I think, who bought a pizza with crypto because he was so excited, and it would be worth probably hundreds of millions right now. But nonetheless, it is definitely real spendable money. The question becomes, what are you doing with the money that really doesn't have any value? The only way the U.S. money has value is because we spend it. It's a commodity. We spend it in exchange for things like this pen. Someone was asking me the other day, well, how can this coin that doesn't really exist and you can't physically put your hand on it have value? Well, think back to 2020 when toilet paper was going for a hit. You remember when you could find toilet paper, y'all? It was insane. And I remember I was in Mexico at the time, but you couldn't find hand sanitizer. And when you did find it, you were paying triple the amount for it. I know friends who sell on Amazon, and they were barred from overcharging people because they were trying to charge 5 times the amount. So you can give value to anything. I can give value to this pen right here. If I can find a fool who would pay $1 million for it, guess what? It's worth $1 million. So value is in exchange for whatever you feel something is worth. And it doesn't mean that cryptocurrency is useless. This pen isn't useless. It writes. If you give it to a 2-year-old, it scribbles on the wall. I mean, it's got all kind of purpose.
That part.
You can pull the ink out. It turns into a toy. It's a ship. It does all kind of things. So we give things value, but in this particular instance, this cryptocurrency has real world value. It actually solves so many problems, and a lot of them are in the tech industry because it's the direction that we're going in. So Francis, because we could talk about this forever, but it's still at that point really just trying to convince you that an apple is an apple. You know, it is what it is. But let's talk a little bit more about the bank, because Francis, you mentioned that the banks have to ship in money. And now this is the really crazy part. This is what people consider to be real money. So the physical dollar, I wouldn't understand in a minute why the bank wouldn't have more than $10,000 in the bank. This is where people come to get money. And the fact that a lot of people chimed in on this guy's story and was like, yeah, I tried to go get 5,000 one time and they told me to come back in 2 days. I wasn't able to cash a check for 6,000. And it was just really interesting how many people were having the same experience as getting cash from the bank that we consider the place to be the most wealthy in the United States.
So banking is so interesting, you guys. Like, you know, I think back to my days working there in the retail sector, like at the branch where people come to do business. And the truth is this, everything is tracked. They want to know what you're doing with your money. In case you didn't know, and I don't work there anymore, so it doesn't really matter. I could share this. But anytime you withdraw $10,000 or more, like literally, if it's $10,000 and a penny, we have to file a report on why you're pulling that cash out, what you're using it for. Like, it is crazy. But the truth is, everything they claim that it's done for security, right? And I understand there is a small portion that involves things like money laundering and all that. But when we talk about like solid citizens trying to use their money, it comes down to one thing. It's the control. They want to be using money for certain things they want to use it for. They want to control how much they're moving from branch to branch. And the truth is this, a lot of people claim, well, our US dollar does have value. It's backed by gold. It's not. It was once upon a time, a long time ago. Go look it up. Like Pam said, you don't have to believe anything we're saying. Like, please go and do some homework, because the truth is most people don't know. So our US dollar is not backed by gold. So when we look at financial institutions, it comes down to one thing. There is a central governing authority. The Federal Reserve says what can and can't happen with money at every financial institution. And so when we look at, like, I remember thinking when I was going through trainings, like, who is really the Federal Reserve? Like, it's not some fancy building that has all this money and that's where things go down. No, it's a group of families that control our money, essentially. And so we can go down a deep rabbit hole as to who controls what. It comes down to one thing. There's a central authority that says what can and can't happen with your money, period. If they feel like a check looks fugu, but it's really not, they can hold it for 10 days if they want. Anybody's debit card ever been flagged because you made a little bit larger purchase than normal? Yes, sometimes it's for security. Most times it's because they want to know what you're doing with the money. And really, when it comes down to it all, it is because the money that we deposit at financial institutions on the back end, they're leveraging us, because for every $1 we deposit, they can lend out 9. So do you see where the control factor comes in? Like, oh, we need to have a certain amount on reserve at all times because we're lending this out to people. And so don't let them fool you. Okay. Like it's all a business game. And so when I think about when, is crypto real? I tell people from my perspective, I always look at where is the greed right now? What are billion-dollar corporations doing? That is a clear indicator, like Pam said, what we should be doing with our money. And so when we look at big financial institutions, I want to talk about Morgan Stanley real quick. If you want to get geeky for just a second, Morgan Stanley is like one of the number 3 financial institutions involved in crypto. And it's because they bought 10% of a technology intelligence company back in January called MicroStrategy. Just go look this man up. He is brilliant, you guys. His name is Michael Saylor. And it's funny because nobody really knows that he purchased that Morgan Stanley purchased 10% of his company. But that's because Michael Saylor took 100% of his balance sheet and put it into Bitcoin, taking his company from $1 million company to a multiple billion-dollar company back in August of last year is when he started buying Bitcoin. And he took his company from $1 million company to $1 billion company. So when we think about who's advocating for Bitcoin, y'all, the biggest financial institutions of the world are, because they know what's happening with the economy. It's not a coincidence that the US is testing out their own digital dollar. It's not a coincidence that Morgan Stanley, that's been around since like the 1930s, out of New York, purchased 10% of this man's company. He's one of the biggest advocates for Bitcoin. And if you go on his website, I'm not kidding you guys, go to microstrategy.com. He did a whole seminar to educate all of the S&P 500 companies on why they should be investing in Bitcoin and what's going to happen to their company if they don't. Because here's the thing, when you look at the US dollar and its value, like Pam said, we use that word very lightly around here. You can see over time, we've been in a downtrend of the US dollar's value. So sometimes you're going to work thinking you're making $25 an hour. You're really not. That's a side note, because our US dollar is losing value every single day. But the truth is, when we look at why cryptocurrency, it's consistently been on an uptrend in value, even through these little, price went down. So what? The US dollar's price goes down all the time. Okay. But when we look at why cryptocurrency, it's kind of like real estate. When you can't sell a property, what do? You put pretty things in it, the value goes up, right? When we look at cryptocurrency, why crypto for these big businesses and financial institutions? Well, if we know the US dollar keeps losing value, wouldn't you hedge that money, meaning putting it somewhere to preserve? Wouldn't you hedge that money in something that's consistently gaining value? Oh, you mean something like crypto? So, I mean, we could get really geeky on this, and I want to keep it kind of basic for everyone but I encourage you, go look up this man. His name is Michael Saylor, and he is brilliant. So don't let the world fool you, the media fool you. One of our multiple figure crypto mentors says it all the time. Don't let the media fool you out your money, because here's the thing. They know if they can shake the average person out of the market who doesn't understand crypto, that they can come in and buy it all. So don't be that person. I encourage you, do your homework, get plugged into real mentorship to help you understand this world. Because guess what? A couple of months ago, the 3 of us, as your lovely hostess, we couldn't interpret this conversation really. We knew that it was a thing and we knew it was gaining value, but we couldn't interpret this. So I just encourage you, like, it is time. People say, oh, well, I might learn about it later if it lasts. Well, if the largest financial institutions of the world are buying it, Do you think it's going to last? Because the truth is Bank of America is invested in crypto. Morgan Stanley is invested in crypto. Citigroup, Citibank, JP Morgan, one of your biggest culprits, the ones that tried to say it was foo-foo money in 2017. So I just say follow the greed. Like, honestly, you guys, when you want to know, Wells Fargo, like, yes, that is a public thing now that customers at their bank know about cryptocurrency and what they're doing with it. I mean, follow the greed, you guys. Like, actions speak louder than words. If you look up this BS, I'm not going to say the bad word, on the internet of them saying, oh no, it's not sustainable. Look at their actions. Who's buying it? Because if it's not sustainable, I'm sure that Elon Musk can find something else to do with 10 million more dollars. Yeah, keep it real. So anyway, I'll hand it over to our other lovely host, because I can literally keep going. Cash App, they even give you drips of Bitcoin for using their card. Hello, somebody. You guys, it's not going anywhere. They just need to shake out the people who don't know about it so that they could come in and buy it all when it's low, because they know Bitcoin's going to over 1 million eventually. So yeah, I'm off my little soapbox.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is not a whole lot more to say beyond that, because it's these sessions are really meant to educate and inform, from a layman's perspective. And the reason I say layman's perspective is because everybody doesn't have, a mathematics, a PhD in mathematics. Everyone doesn't have a degree in accounting. Everyone, I don't want things to be over anyone's head and make them miss out on the opportunity to become independently wealthy, because that's what's happening for so many of us. And quite honestly, that's why I'm able to just kind of get up. My husband has a doctor's appointment, but my life is, as far as finances are concerned, that's not a concern for us anymore. And I want that opportunity for so many of you guys who are on this session with us or who is watching the video. So here's what we're going to do, because we keep talking about crypto and we will. But if you are watching this, I want you to get back in touch with the person who sent you here and ask them how you can get involved in the same training that we've been involved in, that has built 6-figure portfolios for us, moving towards 7-figure. And then shortly afterwards will be an 8-figure portfolio. Get back in touch with the person and ask them, how do you get involved? How do you get involved? And if you don't have a person and you're just watching this on YouTube or you're watching it on Facebook, join our crypto coaching for women community. We give out tons and tons and tons of information there, and you can connect with one of us. If you don't have anyone, you can connect with one of us, Francis, myself, or Marilyn. We all work together, and we'd be more than happy to share this information with you. It is life-changing. I can't say that enough. 6 months from now, it will be life-changing. A year from now, it will be life-changing for generations. And so I want to highly encourage you to get involved in our academy. It's a $200 investment, no brainer. And it's something that's going to pay off for you really, really big. So I want you guys to join us tomorrow for our Crypto and Coffee session. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the meme coins. Are there any good? And this is going to be really interesting, because I know a whole bunch of people that's made money off of the meme coins. So let's talk a little bit about that tomorrow. Make sure that when you come, you bring a friend, tell them that you love them and you want to change their life. And that's why you're introducing them to this information. So friends who love friends and family, they show them this because it matters to them. So you guys have a great day. Thanks to my beautiful co-hosts, my sisters, Francis and Marilyn. And we thank you for being here, and we'll see you again tomorrow on Crypto and Coffee. Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.